Okay, Charlie, roll your D20 and see if we can start the episode.
$18 to hit.
Well, the podcast only has an AC of 4, so...
4? Like this episode. Welcome to episode 4.
Yay.
Good to see you guys. So today, our topic is subs versus dubs in anime.
Definitely not Dungeons and Dragons,
No,
even though we started it that way.
Don't worry about it.
My dice.
No, this is my dice now.
What do you mean? Dice?
But anyways, subs versus dubs. What do you guys feel?
I'm going to go with subs.
Subs?
Yes.
I feel like it depends on the episodes, because there are some shows that the voices don't match the age of the character. So you see like this 20-year-old that sounds like a 13-year-old and it doesn't match. But there's also cases like Ghost Stories where the dub is significantly better than the sub.
This is true. I feel like Ghost Stories is a little bit, it's unique on its own. But I'm a big fan of the dubs, okay? Only because they are incredibly efficient to, like, doing other stuff while you're watching anime. I know a lot of hardcore people will say, subs all the way. You should just sit down and watch it the entire time, right? But come on, people have stuff to do.
Yeah, but I feel like you kind of start missing like some of the like smaller details or some of the sort of smaller plot points when you're not paying attention to that kind of stuff. I don't know. I personally speaking, I prefer subs. If there is a good dub, I will go for it. But I just can't. In most cases, most dubs I feel are pretty bad.
But see, you see what, like, aside from doing stuff while I watch anime, what really turned me off from subs was Dragon Ball Z. Goku sounds ridiculous.
Doesn't
Yeah.
Vegeta also sound like kind of gross in the subs?
I think Vegeta sounds...
It's either that or in
normal.
like this one version of dub where Vegeta just does not sound.
Yeah, and it's so hard to, like, match the iconic dub that, you know, we all know and love from DBZ to the sub. And, you know, it's just such a different feel, like, audio feel, when you compare the two.
I don't know. It's like I feel like with shows like those, like the older shows, you know, like Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon, DBZ. I feel like most of us have this bias where you know we grew up with them in dub and we didn't grow up with them through sub. So I feel like we have a natural inclination towards the dub.
You know, that's very true. Because looking back, because I'm like started rewatching Sailor Moon. Because Sailor Moon was a childhood, and now I'm like, as an adult, I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna watch it again. And as I'm watching it, I can't watch the sub because I grew up on the dub. And also, each season, sort of in the beginning, the main character has a different voice actor because the one kept on leaving, and that's super annoying. If they're gonna do one or the other, they have to try to make like the voice actor consistent.
That's true.
Because it gets annoying like mid-season, mid-arc that the voice actors changed.
Yeah. I mean, my issue is that there's a lot of debate as to what is the iconic voice. Like, there are anime where it's like you could switch between the dub and the sub, and the voice quality doesn't really change that much. You know, I'm talking like your Angel Beats, most of your Moe stuff. Like, that's just like it is what it is, right? But when you have a really, really iconic character and a really like set, you know, character design, you expect something to come out of them. It's like, you know, if you have like this huge hulking, like 500 plus pound character, you don't want to hear like a tiny little, like, you know,
Unless it's intended to be
Yeah,
as
unless
a
it-
comical relief.
like-
unless it's comical. Yeah, but, you know, you have this certain expectation of what a character would sound like, right? And I feel like sometimes it's really hard to hit that with, you know, the Japanese voice actors. Like, I mean, I'm thinking back, again, Goku. I know, I sound like a broken record, but the most powerful fighter in the universe sounds like a 12-year-old girl.
You know, I would not be able to watch like JoJo subbed if it had like a similar issue
It's true.
at all. I wouldn't be able to because the voice needs to match like the character design and the character, like how they are as a person too.
And to be fair, I feel like a lot of modern anime do take that into account, and they do match appropriate voice actors, right? But when the medium was still young, I feel like they just got whoever they got, and then they had to stick to those norms, especially with really famous anime, you know? So, But
Well, it was a lot harder back in the day to get like good voice
Voice
actors,
actors.
especially
It's true.
English voice actors who could, if they're collaborating with the Japanese company, they would probably have to be able to speak
right.
English and Japanese back in the day. Whereas today, it's a lot easier to kind of
Yeah.
communicate.
And I think, the United States always had a leg up with voice acting in general because we had such a huge cartoon, influence.
We also had
You know,
Hollywood too.
Yeah, we had Hollywood. We had Looney Tunes. Looney Tunes was an institution that, developed voice acting as a whole. I mean, back in the day, if you really wanted to be a big actor, you had to look a certain way, you had to sound a certain way, etc.,
Yeah, no,
etc.
they had extremely high standards. You had to be a certain height and weight. You would have to sing, dance, and be able to act at the same time.
Oh, absolutely. And what I think, things like Looney Tunes did, what cartoons in general in the United States did, is they opened up a door for those people who couldn't do those things, but still had an incredible acting talent and voice. So that's why I think, as a dub culture, it's evolved far past where Japan initially started.
Yeah.
But that being said, the quality of subbed anime is incredible in modern sub. I mean, don't get me wrong, I prefer to watch dub, but I can honestly say that the subbed anime it sounds really good.
Yeah.
So my only point of contention is like, is it practical for non-Japanese speakers to sit there for hours on end? Because I'm a binge watcher. Once I start an anime, once I start episode 1, I am in it for the season at the very
See,
least.
that's the thing, though. That's the thing. I also binge watch anime, right? But I, for the most part, only watch sub. But the thing is, for the most part, I'm not doing something else. I'm there to watch the anime, and I'm not there to do anything else. Whereas your point was, you'd be doing something while you were watching it. And I think that's kind of different because you start to notice details when you're actually paying attention to it. It can be a little hard if you're, if you're watching sub and you don't really know the language. That you can miss things. A lot of like verbal things you probably will miss because you just don't understand the culture. But overall, I still think the sub is the way to go. Mostly because you can sometimes feel the quality of the voices going through of some of the better shows, at least.
No, yeah, and it really comes back to like, why are you watching the anime? How long have you been watching anime? There are a lot of factors that go into it. Like for me, for example, I've been watching anime for years, ever since Toonami. Like that was what set it all off for me. But a lot of anime ends up being, the old tricks, new package kind of deal. And you like when you watch a sufficient amount of a type of anime, right? You get to weed out all those little fillers that are generally used to, make an episode. I'm thinking about your scenic cuts, your generic fight scenes kind of deal. Like, there are a lot of things that if you've seen them before, if you've seen one, you've seen them all.
Yeah, I can kind of agree with that. I think the most commonality between, I watch a lot of moe anime because I'm just
That's fine.
person.
That's fine. Body pillow over here.
Yes.
But
anyways, the thing about them is once you watch them enough, you start to realize that they generally have a similar pattern. You'll have like a beach episode. They'll always, have very similar reactions, and there comes a point where they just all feel a bit samey, and you're there for just kind of like the little differences. What kind of unique distinctions they can make from themselves.
agreed.
So.
Okay, so what do you guys think is like the quintessential anime to you, like that'll bring out the difference between sub and dub?
Ghost stories.
I was gonna say Squid Girl.
Okay. One at a time here. Let's start with John. John.
Squid Girl is the best.
Okay, Squid Girl. Can you fill in the people who don't know anything about Squid Girl?
Okay, so it's about this like I don't know if you would call it an anthro squid, but it's basically a girl who's a squid and she has tentacles that are like a squid for hair, and she does want to say Squid Things, but she basically just raids like this local beach house.
I think we should have a counter for how many times John says squid in this episode. But
That's another
in
one.
any case, yes, I believe that Squid Girl is a great example because the sub and the dub. I think isn't it something like they did an exact carryover?
Okay, no, okay. So so you know in like Japanese, you know when a cat like we would say meow, but they would say nyan, right?
Right.
However, in Squid Girl, the subversion, Squid Girl says degeso at the end of her sentences, right?
Okay.
And I guess the dub team didn't know, or they had to figure out a way to incorporate that into the show.
Right, because there's no like English expression for what a squid says.
Exactly. We don't
Even just
really have
squid.
anything. So what they did
Laughs
in
in
Squid
squid.
So basically what they did is they could have just completely written it off and not do anything. But instead what they did was they did squid puns, or like aquatic puns for...
Oh yeah, I remember now.
It's beautiful.
I love it.
Oh, I mean, it's one of those things where like if I heard it outside of any other medium, I would be so angry.
You don't like puns?
Okay, I love puns when they're executed well, like in Squid Girl, but like,
Okay. You're going too far. I don't know if they're executed well. I just don't like the fact that they're really cheesy. They're really cheesy.
But
I love
cheesy
it.
puns are like the best kind of puns. I'm a big pun fan.
Yes.
I love them. I think they're great. They really stick to you.
They do. You got to be squidding me. I apologize.
don't worry, he's fired after this. No, but like, no, I totally agree that that's like a real. But that isn't that like just an argument for why. Like, it's just funnier to see how they adapt to those interpretations.
Basically, actually, so what I've heard is Squid Girl season 2 got a dub. I haven't watched it yet. Right?
Oh.
Here's the thing: season 2 contains a section where they're trying to teach or there's this American scientist who's like part of just there,
Right.
And she's trying to teach them English, but the English in the dub, or no, in the sub is absolutely terrible. It's so funny, but it's terrible. I want to see what they did with how they adapted it to.
Well, I
the
wonder
dub.
if they're gonna try to teach her Japanese.
Oh
and
my
the
god.
English one maybe.
That's
And it's-
where it's weird.
That'd be
And it's just
interesting.
like the worst like pronunciation, the wrong words. Like everything's just going to.
Well, that's how it was in the sub though. So I want to see what they did with the dub. Like how are they going to adapt to? Because they're like, oh, everything was in Japanese except for like a few sections. Where they try to speak English and it was so broken. The English was so broken.
That's awesome.
So I want to see what they're doing with the dub, whether or not they make it all English.
Yeah.
I don't know. I haven't watched it. I want to watch it. I'm probably gonna watch it after this, but we'll see.
Oh God. Coming next. Squid Girl season 2 review. No, but I know Marielle, you had a really good.
Yeah, so Ghost Stories. It's like it's a good example to see the difference between sub and dub. For any of you who don't know, Ghost Stories was originally a horror high school show that they tried making in Japan, and it flopped, it crashed and burned super hard. No one was digging it. So when they gave it to America to dub, they just said, have at it. You don't need to follow the script directly, but you need to just follow it a little bit. That way the storyline continues. And they did, and it's great. It's basically the Sharknado of anime.
Okay, just to let you guys know, we're not going to go over what they said. Because I don't think YouTube would like that very much.
It's not all of it's appropriate, but it's a lot of shock value in it, and the shock is what kind of makes it more hilarious, sort of, because you don't expect what they're gonna say, because they're like an elementary school, middle school type thing. You do not expect these kids to say what they say.
Absolutely. And no, and the funniest part too is that, you look at it just visually and the sub and everything, and you have such stereotypical parts. You have the high school experience, the rich girl, girl with the little brother, all
Yeah.
those tropes, right? But the way they introduced the dub hasn't changed dramatically.
It just completely derailed and became a whole thing on its own, and it succeeded very well after the dub. No one was into it as a sub.
The thing that really blows my mind about it is that how they took these like very stereotypical characters and just like gave them the worst kind of stereotypes in the dub. like we have a super religious girl,
Oh yeah,
like
totally.
just very, very religious, let's just put it that way. Oh my god, who else is there? There's the cat who's just a total,
It's just an a-hole.
yeah, that's the only way to describe him.
There's like the pervert next door neighbor too.
It's true. I forgot about that.
And then the one like super just geeky awkward kid that thinks that he's the smartest in the room.
Oh, yeah.
They amplified him by a lot.
Oh yeah, and how they like constantly forced like the character with the brother, right, to like know that his mom was a lesbian.
They kept on bringing it up. Like there was a part in the first episode where she goes into an old classroom and there's just pictures of all the principals and she goes, "Why do all female principals look like lesbians?" Continues walking forward a little bit, sees one picture, goes, "Hey, that's my mom. I didn't know she was a principal."
And but it's such irreverent comedy that came out of that. But it wouldn't be possible if the sub didn't just flop.
No, it wouldn't.
And I think there's something to say about something that started as a legit project, something that people put a lot of time and effort towards to make like a story kind of deal, and then they just like completely demolished it.
It went derailed.
Yeah, versus like an actual like comedy anime.
I mean, I feel like they were just like given free reign, and like I said, they just did whatever, and they had fun.
Yeah.
It sounded like they had fun with it, honestly.
Oh, absolutely, and it's a lot better than letting that anime just like dive into the deep like of obscurity.
Yeah.
Because it really brings new life to something that was let's just call it what it is, a subpar anime, right?
And I bet when they were doing the dub, they were like, "Yo, this is terrible. Like, we're making awful jokes. Like, no one's gonna like this." And it turned out that a lot of people did.
I mean, look how popular those like the dubbed anime are on, or the what's it? The wrong dub. What are those called?
Oh, the Bridge series.
Yeah, the
Oh,
abridged
yeah.
series.
Oh, I love
Look how
watching the
popular
abridged
abridged series are. Like, if someone just did that for all the terrible anime in general, they'd make a killing.
DBZ abridged, I loved it.
Oh.
It was great.
Everything Cell Saga is fantastic. But, as far as I'm concerned, the difference between sub and dub, for casual watchers, it's going to be highly dependent on the quality of, the production and the quality and really what you're looking for in an anime. So,
My main thing is, I feel like if you're only sticking with dub, you're kind of limiting yourself to a lot of, a lot of anime, because there's obviously a lot of anime that's not dubbed, and there's so many that are really, really good, but you don't ever really get to experience them if you only exclusively watch dub. Which is why, like the thing is, my stance is, even though I would prefer dub, I prefer sub. I can watch dub if there is a version out, and assuming it's been decently worked on and it's decently done.
well, with that being said, sub or dub, we're glad you joined us, and hopefully
Dub.
we'll see you guys in the
Or
shop.
both. I don't know.
Hey, Charlie!
What?
Sponsor!
Well, if you're still here, we'd like to tell you that we truly appreciate the wonderful people at Iron Buffalo, the best gaming, comics, and coffee shop in local Western New York. And we'd also like to thank Under the Sun Retail. You can find anything you need under the sun at Under the Sun. So, thank you guys for watching, and hopefully we'll see you in the shop.
RTX on. Alright, if you like what you saw, follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and subscribe to us on YouTube and PC Master Race. Yes. are